Hey, I'm Piper from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you're watching Takeover TV.
What is up, friends? Takeover peeps, random person coming across this video. However you got here, I'm happy to have you. We're back with another weekly wrap up. It was a long weekend. It was funny leading into this. Most of us probably had the day off Monday. Obviously, I do takeover stuff, so I decided to just give myself the day off as I'm my own boss. It didn't take much to talk my boss into having the day off. I digress. It was goofy because leading into that, I had felt like we were a day further the whole week before we were. So, like on Thursday, I thought it was Friday. And then all of a sudden, when we got to Monday, I thought it was Sunday. So I like kind of re-warped back into time was a mess. Anyways, long weekend. Hope you had a good one. Hope you got some relaxation in. Maybe you ate some good, tasty barbecue or something. Hung out with friends or family. On Saturday, my family got up early and we went and hit a ropes course and crushed it. It was awesome. It was actually so much fun seeing like my daughter do it because she had never done one of those before. And she knocked out like the beginner level, like 15, 20 feet up, whatever it is, and then immediately chose to go to the intermediate one. And even in the moments where she felt like she wanted to turn around, there was one specific moment where she turned around and was like, "Dad, I don't think I can do it." She turned her head right back around and then finished it and went across. And she considered going to the highest level. We didn't end up doing it. We actually ran out of time within our time frame. So that was fun. Then we had a pool party / barbecue with friends on Sunday. And then on Monday, I just chilled with some of my family members and ate tasty food. So I hope you got some of that in as well. Hopefully you are recharged and rested for this week. Question of the day. Speaking of barbecues, what is your perfect barbecue spread on your plate? Like, what are some of your favorite things to have on there for you? For me, I think it's pretty classic. I want a brat with some mustard and sauerkraut on it, maybe some raw onions. A burger would be nice. I love ribs. And then beyond that, watermelon, potato salad, potato chips, baked beans. Those are all classics for me. That's like my perfect. I'm very happy with any mix of that on my plate. What about you? What do you make your little spread? What do you like making? But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's get into this wrap up. Drop your answer in those comments. Sports stuff. We are officially down to the final last two teams in the NBA. It was a long series as we saw the Celtics come back from down 3-0 from the Miami Heat. The Celtics didn't finish it off in the end. Miami Heat move on. They'll be facing the Denver Nuggets in the finals. Meanwhile, the Nuggets have just been chilling forever, waiting for this to happen. Actually, as much as rest is good, I think that this is actually detrimental to the Denver Nuggets because you rest too long, you start to feel those aches and pains, the soreness in your body, the fact that you've played a really long season. I mean, these are a lot of games. It's a lot of physical toll on your body. If you had been able to just jump into the finals, you might still have that adrenaline and momentum going. I think right now it's in Miami's favor. I'm not going to lie. Denver has an awesome team. Jokic is outstanding. It's going to be a great finals either way. Honestly, the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics conference finals, Eastern Conference finals were amazing. That was I was ready for that to just be the NBA finals the way those games were going. I mean, it was so competitive. It was some of the best basketball I've watched all season. I hope to see more of that in the actual finals championship series. In NFL news, Deandre Hopkins was released by the Arizona Cardinals, and now we're waiting to see what team he might pick to be a receiver on now. Selfishly, I hope that somehow he decides to be a Baltimore Raven. That seems very unlikely. It looks as if it's going to be either the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills, which makes sense. There's two fantastic quarterbacks to be throwing to. It's a nice receiver core to be amongst, chance at running for a Super Bowl. It all lines up and makes sense, but we haven't heard yet. We don't know. He could all of a sudden just decide something crazy. You may already know the answer. By the time you're watching this and it drops, he may have already picked a team. We'll find out. You live in the future. I live in the past. Well, I live in what is now the present, but will be your past when you are watching this in what will be my future. Other than that, like I've said many times before, we are all just waiting for the NFL season to start. But good news, we are less than 100 days away. We have had 15 weeks since the Super Bowl, and we have 15 weeks until the regular season. So, soon. Sports cards news. Did you know there's a Shohei Ohtani pancake out there? A pancake artist named Dancakes, at Dr. Dancake, DRDANCAKE on Instagram, was commissioned by Topps to make a Topps baseball card pancake of Shohei Ohtani. And it looks awesome. I mean, I love pancakes. I love sports cards. Who wouldn't love to eat a sports card pancake? Someone needs to tell Watch the Breaks about this. Someone holler at Ivan right now. Tell him that it is indeed not too early for flapjacks. In other sports card news, we've got some anticipated releases dropping this week. 2022 Optic Football Hobby Boxes dropped on Wednesday, as well as the newest Impeccable Basketball. And Bowman Chrome U Basketball drops on Friday, which, if you remember from our previous videos or just news you've seen from other collectors, that's the series that the Victor Wembanyama card comes in with that inscription about it being the first card he's ever signed. So that's going to be highly chased, highly sought after. I really like Bowman Chrome U products. It just looks nice. I miss chrome cards. I know that they're not in their professional uniforms. That's fine. They still look great. Refractors are so cool. I love it. If I can find a box at the right price and it feels right at the time financially, I might just do it for fun. Maybe I'll do an unboxing on this channel. Maybe we'll pull the Wemby card. Probably not. At least not with that attitude. Video game news. PlayStation recently had their showcase, which talks about their new releases and all sorts of things they're doing. I have not watched it, so I actually don't know why I'm telling you, because I have nothing to contribute to what they actually said. I will watch it, though, so you should watch it, too. Okay, this isn't video game news, but this is video game stuff that I did, which is now news on this video. I'm not just a reseller, guys, okay? You see me posting all sorts of cards for sale on Twitter. I collect things too, okay? Now, I might resell some of this down the road, but some of this is staying in my collection. I have been collecting GameCube games again, playing tons of GameCube, N64 occasionally, but I like playing N64, but I don't necessarily collect N64. I just grab like the specific games I want. Once again, on a ramble. I went and bought some manuals from old N64 games because I thought it'd be really cool to have, because there's certain ones that I wish that I had, but the truth is, going back, and maybe this is the same for you growing up, it was like, I might get a game on Christmas Day, and then my brother and I are pumped about playing it, and the box is torn in half, and who even knows what happened to the manual, that kind of thing. So I purchased a lot of manuals online. It was less than $20 for this, which is super sick, because I got 7 in total. I'll show them to you now. I'll start with the not so exciting ones. NHL 99. I think manuals are cool. I miss them for the games that don't have them and things. I used to just bring them in the car sometimes, and I would look through them and just read about what buttons did what and study up and anything they told me. Madden 99, which I actually have a cartridge for, so I'm extra excited to look through that. NBA Live 99. Got a second NHL ones. Here's the ones that I'm most excited for. One of these games I don't have. 2 of them I do, and I'd never seen the manuals for because I only ever had the cartridge. But first up, this is one I don't have, but I want to add to the collection eventually to play. Because I have great memories playing NFL Blitz. This is a thick one. Like, I'm excited to look through this once I carefully take it out of the package. Also, these are in great shape. Like, I don't know condition stuff for manuals, but I assume that it's kind of similar to sports cards. Anyways, they look in great shape to me. Then, quite possibly the best racing game on the Nintendo 64. No, it's not Mario Kart. We're talking Diddy Kong Racing. Look at this thing. Like, it's just... How did they even keep it this... Like, the video game stuff that entered my house as a child did not walk away looking anything like this. Like, this is what I feel like it would look like now, just opening a brand new one. Anyways, excited to look at that too. And then another absolute classic game I love playing. GoldenEye 007. I'm pumped about these. I like this, just adding. I was just excited to find it. It was such a cool lot to find. Obviously, I don't know the value manuals, but buying 7 of them for less than $20, like, I will put that in my collection all day, every day. Anyways, next thing. Oh, in not exactly video game news, but news about a character that is in video games, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is releasing on Thursday. I'm excited to see it. I loved the first video, or the first movie. The art direction was sweet. I loved the soundtrack. I loved the storyline, all of it. I'm going to rewatch the first one. I'm going to go see the next one, probably next week at some point, take my family. Excited about that. But Spider-Man is just my favorite. I love anything and everything Spider-Man. You might already know this about me. Are you going to see it? Let me know in the comments. And then this is me not remembering to get the thing that I was going to talk about right away. Stuff that slaps. The GameCube controller. My favorite system. I just love the layout of this. It is hands down the best controller I've ever used. And I've used PS3, PS4, PS2, original PlayStation, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Super Nintendo. Like, I've tried so many different controllers. GameCube is still hands down my favorite. If you've ever held one of these, you probably agree. I'm saying that to kind of, prove my point. You might totally disagree, and that's okay. Send your rebuttals to the comments or email me and tell me that GameCube controller is trash or something fun like that. But you might also agree. There's just something about the way that it is held. It's like contoured perfectly. It's just the most comfortable controller to hold. I can't even explain it. This C-stick was a game changer instead of just having the like C flat button arrows that they had on the Nintendo 64. Also, the Nintendo 64 controller, although cool looking and iconic and brings back memories, like, not great for people with big hands. This is just, it just feels right. You can just get everything. It's all the buttons that you can do for commands work well in every single game. Things like Tony Hawk, all the way to like, rated M games where you have to do a bunch of stuff. It's goofy. It looks so childish and so cartoony when you just look at it and the coloring and stuff like that. But it's just such a great controller. I cannot. It's clear that Nintendo knows that too. Like, there's some very competitive communities, namely like the Smash Bros. One. And Smash Bros. Has crossed many generations. And it's not lost on me that Nintendo keeps making these available to use on future generations of consoles because people want to play those games with these, even ones that aren't just reboots of GameCube games. They want them for the new Super Smash Bros. Whatever. It just works well for games. Like, they honestly should go back to this design. Anyways, GameCube controller, certified slapper. Music picks. My first one this week is a band called The Wombats, and I'm going with their album. The Wombats proudly present ... This Modern Glitch. The Wombats are an indie rock band from Liverpool that started in 2003. If we're going to tie this back to sports, that's the same year LeBron James was drafted out of high school. They've recorded 5 albums, but today I'm talking about their second studio album. This album is packed with songs that will have you dancing around your house, bopping your head, and singing along to the choruses. The choruses are super catchy, but not necessarily simplistic. The singer really likes telling stories in songs, so it's not just a bunch of kind of empty words, but at the same time, the Wombats also offer up plenty of la-la-las to sing along to and stuff like that you'll notice throughout the album. Fun extra fact, Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction and also formerly of the Red Hot Chili Peppers played additional guitar in the studio on this album along with the Wombats. Some of my favorite tracks on here are the opening track, Our Perfect Disease, the track 1996, and probably my most favorite one, Tokyo, parentheses, Vampires and Wolves. But I'd encourage you to just throw on the whole album and listen to it all the way through. I would love to hear what you think about it. Let me know. My second music pick of this week is by an artist named D'Angelo, and I'm going with the song I Found My Smile Again. This song just makes me feel so happy inside. It reminds me of my childhood. I actually grew up on a lot of like R&B, gospel, funk, things like that from my late uncle and my father. So this song is just like the kind of thing I would have had playing in the background. It's so smooth sounding. The undistorted electric guitar mixed with the percussion, the funky bass lines, and then D'Angelo has a great voice layered over all of this. You know, you may even be familiar with this song from childhood, even if you didn't necessarily know D'Angelo, because this song was on the original Space Jam soundtrack. Now, you didn't hear it in the movie. The thing about this is that it was in the end credits. I have this very vivid memory of renting Space Jam from Blockbuster. And I'm pretty sure I watched it like 3 or 4 times before we had to return it. But each of the first few times, I would watch it and then it would get to the end of the movie and I'd rewind it before the credits. Because like, why am I going to watch the credits, right? I'm a kid. I just want to watch it again. I want to watch Michael Jordan's Save the Looney Tunes, okay? The last time before we returned it, I remember I was like making lunch or something. Maybe I was putting together a sandwich or just playing around the living room or something. And the credits rolled. And it was, they're kind of playing a medley of songs at this point. You're hearing songs that might have briefly been in the actual film, but you're also hearing songs that weren't in the film once again, just in the credits, like this song. And it was on the like Hit 'em High Monster song or whatever. I think it's Method Man and Redman and Method, blah, whatever. Okay, correct me. But after the Hit 'em High like Monster song, it goes into this someone being like counting down to something, and then it's really smooth, and it goes in, and I just remember like being so absorbed and wrapped up in what that was, and I loved something about like it was showing still shots from the film and the names going down the line and that song playing, and I rewound it and listened to the intro of it again and then again, and I just loved that. And then we had to return it to Blockbuster, okay? So fast forward all these years later, I didn't know who did that song, and I only remembered the medley, and I would hum it to myself and things like that. And then I later put it together by, you know, like purchasing the soundtrack and then figuring out who D'Angelo was and all that. And to this day, I just love the song, but I have a very specific memory about that credit roll, whatever still shot was on there from the film, and that countdown intro thing that D'Angelo does leading into the song on it. And it just makes me so happy. So this is one of my song picks for the week. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for hanging out. I just want to point out again, I got that little monster dude. I got the bobblehead of Jose Barrios. I'm not even necessarily a baseball fan. This just looks nice here, and I needed something. So this may not always be here, or it might be here forever. We don't know. But I want more things to put in the background. So I would like to encourage you, if you have something inexpensive, please. Like, I don't want something that is very meaningful to you that you can never get again, or that is costs a bunch of money. If you have like little knickknacks or like things or something, or like a poster you don't need that you think I might like, or something like that, I think it would be cool to put things in the background as I develop this over and over. Eventually, I plan on having an even bigger wall and space behind me. I would love to have a studio, but I would love to put things behind that you get to see on the video where you knew you sent that in, and it's like a meaningful connection and things like that. So if you got anything like that, maybe hit me up on Twitter, or email me or something, or connect with me in the comments and we'll figure it out. But once again, please don't let it be something that's like so meaningful to you and hard to find or expensive or something like that. Let's keep this pretty inexpensive, something you can obtain again, or I can easily get back to you. Something you won't be upset if, like, in the future I lost it in a move or something, or, you know, something like that. So, but that would be fun. I would try to keep it forever, but you know, things happen. Let's talk about that. Thank you for hanging out. Lots of rambling today. Thank you for getting through that. I haven't had a single sip of coffee yet, despite the fact that it's sitting right next to me. So peace and love, friends.